the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Presidential Task Force, honorable ministers, members of the PTF, gentlemen of the press, good evening. So today I'll be talking to you briefly on the issue of reopening safely. As we're aware, a lot of state governments have gradually started to reopen their economies, but we'd like to remind everyone that COVID continues to be a silent threat to all of us, whether we are old or vulnerable, and also to our way of life. In Nigeria and in many parts of the world, it continues to be a silent enemy. And unlike other pandemics such as Ebola, for instance, we do not see dead bodies on the streets or in hospitals. Instead, it comes silently into our homes and claims our most vulnerable. Nevertheless, we cannot let our guard down. We need to protect our elderly and loved ones with pre-existing conditions who continue to be those most at risk. With the reopening of the economy, the PTF will continue to provide data-driven and scientific advisories that can protect us from this pandemic. So far, our data analysis shows that most Nigerians continue to be in denial of the dangerous nature of this virus. As our airspace and various sectors open up, it's really very easy to forget and be fooled into complacency, but we really shouldn't. We're urging everybody to always follow approved non-pharmaceutical advisories, such as the use of face masks all the time and properly, hand and respiratory hygiene, as well as physical distancing, in order to protect ourselves and our most vulnerable parts of the population. We can only win the fight against coronavirus when our knowledge of prevention translates to our daily behaviors at home, at our workplaces, our religious centers, and in fact, anywhere. We definitely must embrace this new reality, especially as the world continues to look for a permanent solution to the pandemic. The PTF would like to appeal to state governments and religious bodies to proactively prevent transmission of the virus by continuing to advocate and practice the approved preventive measures and guidelines. Specifically, we urge businesses that are reopening to align themselves to our efforts by establishing and practicing COVID-sensitive business precautionary measures. We eventually have to reopen, but we can only do so if we reopen safely. It is quite clear, as we can see from other parts of the world, that certain countries are now going back into lockdown states because of the pandemic coming back again. In other words, a recrudescence, what we call a second wave. We really cannot afford to have this happen in this country. It will destroy our economy and it will lead to a lot of deaths. Therefore, we have to reopen safely. We cannot risk another shutdown, nor can we risk having more lives being lost. I would like to also remind us all of the safety guidelines for the eased lockdown phase 2, which we are currently in, and this will continue to be in place until Thursday, the 6th of August, when we will announce the new protocols for the third phase. We cannot be tired of the virus because we know the virus is not tired. Finally, on behalf of the PTF, we would like to thank all the state governments and religious leaders for working with us by communicating and enforcing those guidelines that will keep us safe, especially during the recently celebrated Salah. Thank you.